Okay, you have this amazing career. When did it all start? Tell me about the start of your writing career, your acting career, all that good stuff.
Well, I was a child actor. I grew up in New Jersey, right across from the George Washington Bridge, and I evinced an early interest in showbiz, and I liked dancing around the house and performing and stuff. So my parents encouraged it, and I was a child actor. I was not a child star, or we'd be having this conversation in rehab. They don't they don't do well as a rule. And so I kept acting, and then I had a deep voice, and I was, large, heavy, and I always looked older. I was like born 40. And I was always competing as I got older with people who were the real thing. And I was a kid pretending to be the real thing. So I kind of got into writing because it was another creative outlet because I had no motor skills. I couldn't, play an instrument or paint or any of that stuff that other kind of artists do. So I was writing, and I wound up writing. It started for the school paper, and then I just kept writing. It was about what I knew, which was show business, pretty much. And when I went to college. I was a dual major. I was acting and I was writing at the same time. And I got a job at the Chicago Tribune afterwards. And I met Bette Midler very early on, early in her career, and I started writing for her. And that was the beginning of the professional show business writing career. I said, journalism, fact, goodbye. Unreality, hello. I'm your guy. And I started doing that. And after 5 years at the paper, I came out to Hollywood to write a TV series for the Manhattan Transfer, which was at the time a nostalgia group and has since become a jazz group. And I, I was writing for a lot of different people while I was in Chicago, and they all were doing television and stuff. So I suddenly had another career. So I left Chicago and came out here, and I stayed. And it has been back and forth between those things ever since. I was out 20 years when they decided to bring back the Hollywood Squares, and Whoopi was going to be the center square, and they asked me to write it, to be the head writer, and she wanted me to host it. And of course,
Wow.
they thought, well, she's nuts, but they didn't want to piss her off so early in the game, so they said we'll test him. So I did a test. This is for the win, Louise. And they said, well, you're not exactly mainstream, what we were looking for, but we'll put you in a square. So I wound up in the square next to Whoopi. I think that they thought I would tame her.
Pretty good
But
consolation.
exactly. But as she is always fond of saying, what they didn't take into account was that she is really a gay Jewish guy, and I am really a woman. So there was no taming to be done.
That's amazing. Okay, so first thing that comes to your head when I say Star Wars Hollywood special or holiday special.
Hollis